Hi, I'm going to go over some WebAssign features and benefits that can help your developmental math student move from just being a learner to thinking and understanding the concepts a little bit. Students in developmental math are taking this course for a reason. They haven't been successful in it before. Yes, they've struggled or failed it probably in junior high school, and maybe in a college course. So, how can WebAssign help them be more successful in this area? Well, we have to think about a couple of things as we answer this question. One, if students have taken this class or a similar class before and they've been unsuccessful, we can't keep doing things the same way. We have to find different ways of getting students the information and helping them learn the processes than they've had in the past, because apparently the past hasn't worked for most of them. Now, there is another reality in that sometimes students just were not prepared to learn it in junior high or high school. They might be a 25-year-old now and be much more mature and engaged in their learning. Well, if that is the case, then we want to make sure we have all the resources available for that engaged student and are able to help him attack things in an unthreatening way and to hit his learning style. And as I show WebAssign to my customers, I don't want to emphasize any one point of WebAssign without first talking to them about what do they think the individual needs are of the students. And one of our goals is to show how WebAssign hits all of these individual needs. Now, one thing that's very important is that everything is in a very clear, non-threatening, easy to understand environment. So as you can see from the home page here, that's much the case. Go to assignments, we can see assignments, announcements, everything is very clear and easy for them to understand. When the student clicks on assignments, they again are laid out in a very nice, clear way. Now, as we look at the assignments, we talked about approaching things in a variety of ways. Students need help, but they don't need it all in the same way. For an example, here's a very simple problem. Now, if a student were to read this problem and had no idea, they can click on Watch It. And many of our problems will have a Watch It where we have an instructor goes through a very similar problem. So the student can watch and listen to this video, see how this instructor teaches it. They can stop it, they can rewind it, they can go over it as many times as they would like. So it lets them experience this in, again, non-threatening type situation. Now, you do have a few students that will want to read. Well, if that's the case, they have an ebook and they click on it and it takes them right to their problem. So they can read and see it in print. So right away, we're addressing things in a couple of different ways for the student. They can watch it or they can read it. Another thing that we have for many of our problems is called Master It. And Master It helps the student isolate the problem into its parts. Many times a student will read a problem and it's just too complicated and they don't know where to begin. Now, this is a very simple problem here, but the same concept would show forth for more complex problems. So here we have a problem and they say, okay, here's part one, we have to do this before we can move on. So the student does this. And after they have done that, then they move to part two and it walks them through that. Moving on to part three. So it breaks it down. Then if they still didn't get it, they could try another problem that's very similar to that. So the student can practice it over and over again. They can go back and watch the video. There are a lot of different ways that the student can help meet their individual learning style. So we have three things here: a video, they can read about it, or they can have a problem walk through exactly for them. We're going to go back to the home page now and show you one more thing that helps address students' individual needs, and that is the personalized study plan. The personalized study plan is set up for an individual to help practice certain things that they need work on, or to help them find out what it is they don't know. For an example, we have chapter 4 here, and maybe there's a quiz coming up, and Johnny knows that, hey, I don't know how to do this. So they go to this 4.2 and they take the tutorial and they'll say, hey, these are all the videos. that cover the topics for that section, so I can watch those. I need practice on problems. I need them broken down step by step. I can do the master it's. All different ways that a student can help hit their individual needs. If there's a certain part they wanted to just take a quiz on, they say, gee, I think I know this, but I'm not really sure. They can take a practice quiz just on that part, or they can take a chapter quiz on the entire thing. And this quiz will be those problems from that section. If they get certain ones wrong, it will then take them back to the tutorial part so that they can study those items. So, in conclusion here, I think the real important thing is, yes, we can help students do more than just learn something. Because learning, they forget, or they don't learn it for very long. If they can start to think and understand the concepts and do it enough times, then they're going to remember it. So, in summary, I would just like to say, how can students use WebAssign to help elevate their thinking from learning or learning to thinking? Well, we have to address the students' needs and learning styles by presenting the materials in a variety of ways, giving them practice in a non-threatening, easy-to-use format where they can practice, they can get feedback, and they can keep working on problems until they master that problem type. Thank you.